So we're going to get into some of my backstory. So my biological father spoke to his mom on the phone. I've never talked to him. Spoke to his mom on the phone, and she explained to me how he was always top of his class and bored and would just like go break into his friends' houses for fun just to be like a cat, and wanted to like be in the CIA and worked on cars and loved to drive fast and blah, blah, blah. And I've talked to his ex-wife and talked to his kids and his other kids. He's out in California. His sister is a very tall, supermodel-esque woman who's very intelligent, who has married money 3 times in a row, and she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Owns hills with radio towers on top. So she is intelligent. But everybody thought that he was going to be like the president of the United States. Everybody that I've talked to said that he was so off the charts smart. My mom is intelligent in some ways. Her dad was intelligent in some ways. I think my mom's side of the family is like half autistic. I think that my mom's dad and my mom have autistic traits, and it wouldn't surprise me. People have joked with me like, are you on the spectrum, blah, blah, blah. And like my best friend's parents called me out about it when we were having like religious debates about Christianity, because they all think that they're the shit. But the problem is I'm all about being able to cross-reference very quickly all things and identify hypocrisy. And my moral code was higher than my best friend's parents' moral code as far as quote-unquote Christianity went. Like after 9/11, they were all for killing any Muslim in the Middle East who stands in our way. And I was just like, you guys would be mowed to the ground so fucking fast if you were over there. You guys are such hypocrites. And I didn't say it like that. I tried to explain it to them very kindly. And when I tell you that I wasted years of my life trying to explain it to them very kindly, I finally got so fed up with their bullshit that I literally kind of quit going over to their house over that topic alone, because I cannot stand a hypocrite. I really can't stand a hypocrite. And when people want to pretend that they're like Jesus and they're not even fucking close, it's just, and I'm not even saying that Jesus was like the Son of God and he was absolutely who people see. There's so much to it all that people refuse to understand. See, they understand that the media twists things today, but that they don't understand that the elites have been twisting things for the past 2,000 years. So I'm going to give you a little what if scenario. Let's say that Jesus never promised people that he was going to erase their sins, and Jesus never promised that he is the Son of God. Let's say that Jesus came along and he was, let's just say, somewhat like me and hated hypocrisy with a passion and would sit there and debate with the elites, because he would. He'd go to the temple when he was 8 years old and wanted to chat and understand everything, because he was a hypocrisy identifying mastermind, which is something that I consider myself to be as well. Again, this is all hypothetical. Obviously, this isn't true. You guys are all so intelligent. You would know this otherwise. But the point is, let's say that Jesus used to do this stuff, and let's say that Jesus had a problem with the Pharisees and the people at the temple who were using the name of God to represent that they had special products that were worth more money, and that you need to do kind of like you have, it's not even a good example, but like kosher food for Jewish people today. The kosher food is actually 9 times out of 10 much better than the other food, because they're only allowed to put in like 8 preservatives and flavor additives, period, whereas we have 350 total in our food that's not kosher. So it's not even like that. I'm saying it's nothing more than just, back then there were people saying, oh, since you're buying this from me in the temple, it's worth more money. It's kind of like going to Disney World and getting the authentic Disney brand Mickey Mouse ears instead of buying some cheap ones off eBay that come from China that, who knows? They don't say Disney on them. They're just Mickey Mouse ears, and maybe you can buy them for $2, whereas when you buy them from Disney World, they're fucking 30, okay? Jesus had a problem with the fact that there were people doing that via the temples under the name of God. He had problems with the currency exchanges. He understood the cloaked slavery, if you will, the people who were getting tons of money who could then pay everyone else to do their bidding because they'd earned all this extra money without doing any extra good for mankind. Jesus understood this.
Where do you see this in the Bible, Brandon? This isn't what I read. Where's it at?
It's called Revelation, you scumbag pieces of fucking shit. Anyway, neither here nor there. So basically what ends up happening is, again, this is just my little rendition of a possibility. Doesn't mean that it absolutely is, just means it's definitely a possibility in my mind. So then what Jesus ended up realizing is, okay, these people, whether it's the Caesar, quote unquote, Christ of Rome, because that's what the Caesar was the Christ, but you guys aren't taught that, and therefore you guys don't know that, so you guys are just dog shit fucking stupid, aren't you? Fucking maggots.
I'm God's favorite. I know so much about Christianity.
You guys don't know shit.
I'm going to go kill a Muslim in the Middle East, and that means I'm Jesus' favorite.
You guys are shit. The people who did 9/11 have you guys so fucking pegged as fucking dog shit and maggot fucks. You guys are a fucking embarrassment. So anyway, you have nothing to do with Jesus. The vast majority of you are such shit. So anyway.
Wait a second. Are you on Jesus' team or not?
Yeah, and I think the rest of you are so far away from it, it's not even fucking funny. You need to go. I'm not even going to say it. But the point is, because it'll get this video banned if I say what you should go do with a tall cliff. Okay? But the point is, there's definitely hypocrisy up here on planet Earth where 99% of the population is literally dog shit animals. There's a reason why the Jewish elite have it in their texts that if you're not one of us, you are a dog. But most Jews think that that applies to all Jews, that they're part of the club. So it's unbelievable how fucking oblivious you guys are. But let me just keep continuing here. And I'm not telling you to go join the Jewish elite. I haven't joined the Jewish elite, okay? I'm not one to just join teams for security. I'd rather walk alone and remain non-hypocritical, which is what I've done my whole life, pretty much. I walk with people and befriend people, and then I figure out everybody's got this fucking ceiling where nobody wants to walk to the tune that I want to walk to of anti-hypocrisy. And so, anyway, back to this whole Jesus thing about an alternate reality that the vast majority of you can't believe in, because then it means you're fucking dog shit once you realize what fucking maggots you all are relative to what Jesus actually was. So then what Jesus did was he realized, well, we need to explain to the people that they can all be in touch with the Holy Spirit and that we are all children of God. Now, if you ever know anything about being tried in a trial up on the stand in court, the prosecuting attorney, the attorney who's attacking you, is allowed to ask you a very simple yes or no question. So it's important to know that back then, during Jesus' time, it was a crime punishable by death to claim that you are a god and or are a descendant of a god, because the only person who was God, and this had been tradition since ancient Egypt, the only person who was related to God was either the Pharaoh or the Caesar, the Christus. And you could say some kings or whatever, that's fine. But the point is, there was even a hierarchy among kings where you were to bow to higher and higher kings, okay? And so here on planet Earth, kings and bankers and these different kind of people, princesses, princes, they kind of know who their superiors are, and they're expected to show that respect. Otherwise, it's a challenge, and the other royalty takes it as a challenge. Like, okay, you're on, jackfuck. We'll see who wins this battle. So, that's why you see Obama bow to certain royalty, because they are his superior, and he knows it. That's why you see certain royalty bow to super bankers, because they are their superior, and the royalty knows it. So neither here nor there. Jesus basically taught everybody that they could have a relationship with God. So the prosecuting attorneys, the elites, the Pharisees, were very clever. And they asked Jesus a very simple question so that they could then blackball him from that point forward after they sentenced him to death. They asked him a very simple question because he was running around teaching everybody that they were the children of God and that everybody deserved to read the Bible. Everybody deserved to have access to the truths. Now, keep in mind, Jesus wasn't fully enlightened. He was self-enlightened to some degree, but he wasn't necessarily fully enlightened. Jesus, in my opinion, did not understand, or at least this isn't really talked about much in the Bible, because a lot of stuff's omitted. The Vatican openly admits that you don't have the whole teaching of Jesus. It's omitted. It's been redacted, retracted, whatever you want to call it. So let's call a spade a spade. Inside your Bible, there are no physics equations. So you can't sit here and tell me this is the only book with all the truth and this is all you need to know to be a success in this world. Meanwhile, if you go try to get a job at a mechanical engineering job or for Lockheed or whatever, you're going to need to know how some certain physics equations work. And like it or not, those equations are not in your Bible. So you can cut the bullshit about, this is the bestest book and it's got everything in it and we don't need anything else because I'm a scumbag piece of shit, low IQ fucking maggot, very closely related to someone with Down syndrome. Listen to me, Linda. I am so sick of you fucking scumbags. It's one thing to be stupid. It's another thing to try to override someone who you know is about 10 times fucking smarter than you'll ever fucking be. And then you try to intertwine it to the fucking name of God like you're fucking God's representative. It's like fucking flunking the SAT and then walking into a place where people's lives depend on fucking physics being calculated correctly like NASA when people go to the moon. Everyone, listen to me, you hideous fucking pieces of shit who can't fucking learn your places in the world, can you? I'm really close with God. I've gone to Sunday school so many fucking times and I've sung God so many fucking songs. Now whatever I say is the word of God, you hideous fucking pieces of self-indulged shit. So let's continue. The Pharisees asked Jesus a very clever trick question. They said, are you the Son of God? And since Jesus was teaching everybody that everyone was the Son of God and the daughter of God, okay, that everyone starts out equal and then is judged later by God, that no one's born into some exclusivity that you're closer to God automatically the instant you exit a fucking vagina. So Jesus was against royal banking crime families. The same thing that Hitler was against, believe it or not. Oh my God, what's this guy talking about? The same thing that most American great presidents like Abraham Lincoln were against. Abraham Lincoln, by the way, we're entering the time of Aquarius. So, by the way, let's rewind back 2,000 years before Jesus. Who was there? Was there Moses? What did Moses do? Do any of you low IQ pieces of shit know what Moses did? He freed the slaves from the Pharaoh. Oh my God. You actually got that one right, didn't you, you fucking pieces of shit? So Moses frees the slaves from the Pharaoh, but Moses did more than that. Moses got the people to have the confidence to run away from the super weapon which kept them in captivity. See, when you escape a prison, let's say you run away, and there's a big gigantic fucking laser gun, also known as the Eye of Ra. Do any of you low IQ pieces of shit know where the Eye of Ra laser gun went? Can you look at your dollar bill and maybe take a wild fucking guess where the Eye of Ra laser gun went? Nikola Tesla told you the answer also. Do any of you fucking know? Maybe on the top of the Pyramid of Giza? Oh, isn't that neat, you stupid fucks? The point is, and again, this is just all alternate reality, because certainly this couldn't be true, because you guys have perfect truth. You guys are so fucking intelligent. Why don't you go flunk another fucking military IQ test so they can send your ass to the front lines and get your fucking ass mowed while they watch it from satellite with a fucking laser that could kill the guy that you're at war with, but that's not the fucking goal. The goal is for you to fucking die too, because you're such a mindless fucking piece of shit, aren't you, maggots? the point. Again, I wouldn't care that you're fucking retarded. I've met retarded people. One of my best friends in this world right now has a mentally disabled child who is now older than me. The child is older than me, in his 40s, 50s, I don't know. And his dad has raised that mentally disabled person well enough that that mentally disabled person kind of does their own thing until their dad says, no, don't do that. And the son obeys the dad. Now, I was raised by a stepdad, who was extremely disrespectful. Meanwhile, this gentleman who has this, and the reason why he's disrespectful to me is because I was so stupid, okay? Because like it or not, my stepdad was extremely intelligent. I've had many people in my life who are extremely successful business people, high up positions in the government, lawyers, doctors, all kinds of people, that when they find out who I am and they find out that I am the son, because I would call my stepdad my dad and he would call me his son to other people, but face to face, he would never say, hey, son, and I would never say, hey, dad. His name was Frank and my name was Brandon, okay? But the point is, Frank, and even some of his disrespectful fucking family members, used to love to try to rub in my face how stupid I was. Pure disrespect all the time. I'm just a kid, and they would love to rub in my face how stupid I was. When technically, these people are not mechanically inclined in the least. They were the kind of people who didn't understand the red cable goes on the red plug of the VCR and the white cable goes on the white plug of the VCR. They couldn't figure that shit out. I used to put that shit together when I was 5 years old, and they'd all sit there like cavemen, and there's actually photographic evidence of this, okay? With my dad's brother and the different people sitting there like cavemen trying to figure out how to put the fucking VCR together, and I'd take it out of his hands and do it in a blink of an eye. Who taught you that, Brandon? I don't know. Oh, it's so tricky. So anyway, so there's certain things in this world that people can't seem to figure out, okay? And this side of the family was not technologically advanced. They're all fantastic drivers. They used to drive the Miss Budweiser boat and all these different things and set world records. But technologically speaking, they were not very advanced people. It was like these cavemen, big, gigantic, beautiful cavemen people. But they're actually very intelligent when it comes to just basic math, not even basic math, advanced math. They're very intelligent when it comes to everything except for engineering and science, so to speak. They're very intelligent with nutrition. They're pretty much intelligent with all things except mechanical engineering. Okay, we'll just put it that way, and computer programming. Okay, that was not their forte whatsoever. But everything else, exceptional, intelligent people. They used to finish exams in 20 minutes that would take the rest of the class an hour, and they would ace the tests, and nobody else would get an ace on the test like they would. That was my stepdad. He was extremely intelligent. So he was super disrespectful about how stupid I was, and there's a motive behind this. It actually had to do with a huge jealousy factor because his grandma was bequeathing me stock because she liked me. That's a fact. So now comes the kiss of death, where I am bequeathed this stock that's passing both my grandfather and my stepdad on that side of the family because great-grandma is giving me stock, okay? And they were all losing their fucking minds, the whole rest of the family. So I was treated with super disrespect at home. Now, when we go out to the country club or somewhere in the presence of others, the disrespect was lifted, but it still existed. But the problem was, since I was raised with super disrespect all the time, I didn't really know another way. I just thought it was the way that we all were, and you're a chicken shit, spineless pansy if you can't take it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to dish it back to all these other disrespectful motherfuckers who all want to say that I'm stupid. That's fine. People who don't know how to put a fucking VCR together. We can figure out who's stupid. Okay, we can play at this game. So the point is, there was always this fun, I thought, rivalry where we just all call each other out about being stupid about shit. I'm stupid about something. You're stupid about something. We all call each other out. We all get smarter. It really didn't bother me. Little did I understand that these spoiled rich bitches had a serious problem with the fact that I could call them out on things that they didn't understand, even in their own business. Like there was a time when one of my relatives fired a manager within the family business. But this isn't an exaggeration, I was like the only person participating in the actual activity of the family business, like boots on the ground, participating in what made the business tick. And so I knew that the manager that he had fired was one of the best guys. And I just said, you just fired one of your best managers. Like, we're all sitting there at the country club hanging out, and I'm just like hearing the story about how so-and-so got fired because he was stealing. And I said, even if that guy is stealing, he's going to make you more money than whoever you put in his place. Those were my exact words. And I just sat there. I'm like, I really don't care what you do. It's your fucking money, dumbass. I didn't use the word dumbass. I was respectful, but I was just like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Within a year, that manager that was stealing was hired back. Okay. So I wasn't wrong. And certain people in my family took huge offense to this stuff that I could just see through things. So when I was about 13 years old, I had the ever-living shit beat out of me. I'm not just talking about getting beat with the belt, okay, where you get a welt on your ass. I'm talking about cracked ribs, broken nose, pissed my pants on the fucking floor because Christmas, this is right before Christmas. So our family would always have a Christmas party before Christmas. And right before Christmas, we all had this big Christmas party at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and Great-Grandma was invited. And Great-Grandma, people were trying to put on a show for Great-Grandma. And I just went with the flow and called people out when they were telling lies. One of the big lies that my dad liked to tell people is that he bought our house in Muirfield, Dublin, Ohio. He didn't buy the house. In fact, the reason why we had that house is because myself and my mom, when we were separated from my stepdad, because they were always together, away, together, divorced, blah, 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 always calling the cops on each other. My mom and I bought a stock that my stepdad and his family, his parents, made fun of us constantly about. Very super disrespectful. Because I thought it was a good idea to invest $2,000 into check yourself out at the grocery store, which was an invented idea by my mom's sister's side of the family. Okay. And we bought the stock when it was private for 10 cents a share, and it went to $36 and split along the way. So here we are with $500,000, and we would have become multi-millionaires had my stepdad not intervened and forced us to sell the stock, as well as forced the gentleman who was the inventor on my mom's side of the family not to present his technology, because my stepdad convinced him that the mob was going to kill him if he did. So first, the guy doesn't present the technology because my stepdad told him that certain people had to be invested first, otherwise the idea would never work. Then my stepdad and his dad threatened my mom that she needed to sell her portion of the stock to them. And when my mom refused, that's when my stepdad just said, fine, we need to sell the stock because it's a what do you call it? It's a dud company because they didn't present to the investors. When in reality, my stepdad threatened the family member that if he presented, he would be killed. So he talks my mom into selling, which triggers an SEC investigation because not only did they not present, but now an insider sold the stock. And so this pretty much tanked the company. But as you're all aware, you're checking yourself out at the grocery store now. This was back in the year when all this is taking place. I was 13 years old in the year 96, and in the year 1990, roughly, is when we bought this stock. Against my stepdad's family's wishes. So next thing you know, my great-grandma is bequeathing me stock because she's seeing that I am very intelligent, that I have made a choice that turned $2,000 into $500,000. Almost. It was like 400. And it would have gone to millions of dollars. And I actually made a stock trade to get to that point because my grandma and grandpa had originally given me McDonald's stock, $2,000 worth of that. Meanwhile, my real father, my biological father, who's completely out of the scene, he had a bunch of back child support, and my real dad, or excuse me, my stepdad, he was never allowed to legally adopt me because his parents got in the way of that. More on that later. So but they would change my last name, but they would not legally adopt me. But neither here nor there. So I got the living shit beat out of me when I was 13 years old for embarrassing my stepdad in front of his grandma. Because he was lying about the stock and what paid for the house, and I just basically called him out in front of everybody, and I wouldn't back down. We get home, my mom and my stepdad, my mom ordered him to beat the living shit out of me. My mom had already decided that she was joining his team because unbeknownst to me, there was a scheme that was presented to my stepdad that if he could get me to get into drugs or go commit some serious crimes or whatever it is, okay, that, and get bad grades at school, blah, 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 that anything that could get great grandma to take the stock away from me and give it back to he and his father would be a win, and they would make sure that my stepdad would get a cut of that. And my mom knew this. So my mom was part of the fucking conspiracy. I was treated like the movie Matilda growing up. I was treated worse than you could ever fucking imagine. Every fucking day. And these people would lie about me. They would try to get under my skin with just pure lies. And I was a good kid. I was a good older brother. And they would lie about me nonstop. And when the kids were around, or I brought my friends over, or they were their friends over, they were good people. But from my perspective, I was like, these people are Satan. These people are evil. They're faking it. I know the real them. They're faking it to everybody else. And so I used to try to explain it to everybody. I'm like, no, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. And it was working. People were believing me. Well, once I almost got killed when I was 13 years old, I decided, I almost ran away because I knew that they were going to kill me. I really felt that they were going to kill me and ruin my life. And I almost ran away from home, like genuinely ran away, not just like run away for the weekend just to prove a point, like genuinely come up with a plan. I was genuinely thinking about running away to California, going and doing a landscape company, going and meeting my real dad who lived out in the San Francisco area, and like running away. And I was like a little adult at a really young age. I was driving cars on public streets when I was 13 years old. My mom used to send me to go get milk from the grocery store from UDF, which was down the street 3 miles. I would drive 3, 4, 5 miles, like 6 miles round trip to go get milk when I wasn't even, of age yet. Didn't have my temps, nothing. So the point is, eventually, oh, by the way, so I grew up going to church. So I really just focused on me. And I wanted our family to be like a good family, because I believe that the reason why our family was enduring all the problems that they were enduring is because God was not blessing us, because my family was acting in such a evil manner, okay? So I tried to make sure that I was not guilty by association. I tried to be a really good kid. Like, I'm talking, you wouldn't believe how good of a kid I was. And I wanted to make sure my parents didn't treat my younger brothers and sisters the way they treated me. My stepdad had addictions. He was into drugs. He was into Oxycontins and other stuff. And to make matters worse, the only reason why he was with my mom and I is because his grandma, my great grandma, told him that unless he gets back with my mom and I, he's not going to ever get his stock back in the company, because he had sold out of the company at one point and he wanted to buy back in. And they said the only way you're allowed back in is if you get back with Brandon and his mom. So it's something out of a movie. And once you understand the magnitude of who our family was, which I didn't even fully understand at all, sure, they own skyscrapers, sure, they own a bunch of businesses, sure, they own banks, but it's even worse than that. It gets crazy. So so I had to just keep all this stuff internalized because other family members who I thought were my friends, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, these people who I think are my friends, it's just a big game of good cop, bad cop. They're all pretending to be my friends because they knew that my stepdad was my handler. He was the one who had been ordered to make my life hell. And then they pretended to be my friend to get information out of me, to get my perspective on things. So back to the point where I started this whole thing. But my point was I went to church even without my parents. And I never viewed church as, I go to the perfect church and now I'm God's favorite. Now I'm going to go kill people without a trial in the Middle East. Even though I wanted to join the military, even though I was smart enough to go in the Air Force and fly jets. And my stepdad kicked the Air Force recruiter out of the house in high school because I was going to just go in the Air Force. I wanted nothing to do with my family because they were such psychos. And my outer family, my aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpa, they weren't stopping my dad from treating me like shit. They just told me, there's nothing we can do. That's just part of life. You're just going to have to deal with it. And then my grandpa would do this like poor me bullshit where he'd say, it's my fault. Oh, I'm the reason why your stepdad's the way he is. And I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that. My grandpa was trying to get me to feel sorry for him. Like, oh, woe is me. Oh, ho, ho. And I'm just like, dude, I'm getting the shit beat out of me. Anyway. They stole so much money from me over the years. It's unbelievable. The stock money to buy the house was just the beginning. Then they stole car money. They stole the money to repair my leg when I got my motorcycle wrecked. They stole that money. They stole so much fucking money from me. It's unbelievable. And so, because I always went to church, I believe that family was important and that you don't betray your family. So I had more loyalty to the family than anybody could have ever expected. But they all wanted to make up excuses why I wasn't allowed to be in the family because I was too much of a goody-good, is what they would say. And therefore, let's just put it this way. The great grandma who was giving me the stock, her husband used to run around with Al Capone, and there's photographs of that, okay? So when I tell you we're talking ultra wealth, we're talking ultra wealth, okay? So, and ultra power, owning judges, owning everything. They can't be touched. So, I just, after 13 years old, when I got the living shit beat out of me, I would just come home, do my 2-hour list of chores, because my parents eventually ground me from lacrosse and ground me from going to church. I would do my 2-hour list of chores, which is why I wasn't allowed to go to lacrosse and go to church, because I always had chores. I would do my 2+ hour list of chores, literally, and that was me being very efficient. That wasn't me being lazy. That was me doing everything at light speed so that I could even go rollerblade or go run or bicycle or drive around. After I did my 2-hour list of chores each day, and that started before I was even a freshman in high school, where was I going with this? So I'd come home, I'd do my chores, I'd go in my room and I'd take a nap because I was just always depressed because my life was just hell. My parents were always lying and just making up stories about me, just totally fucking psychopaths. And it was all about this stupid fucking stock. And I made it clear at a very young age, that same year that I got the living shit beat out of me when I was 13 years old, I was just like, I don't even want the stock. I knew that the stock was a pressure point, was a snag point, and I just kept telling everybody, I'm like, I don't even want the stock. And if I had it all to do over again, I would have went and told my great-grandma, don't give me any stock. Like, remove me from the list, please. And just figure out a way to just give me some money, because I just want to go do my own thing. I don't want the stock. But there was more to it. She was trying to keep the business going, and she knew that my stepdad and his dad, my grandfather, were going to sell, which is fact that they both did to some degree or another. So the whole thing is just a big clusterfuck that I wanted no part of. So I would always go to my dad's ranch in Indiana for the summers and bale hay and just work my ass off. So here's the crazy thing. In a weird way, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world, because it's made me more aware of what's going on in the world around me. Because I was able to play the same tango game that I used to with my stepdad, with certain people. They weren't as bad as my stepdad, but they were of the same intelligence level. And let's just say it's a very small world. Let's just say all the people who you know run the globe, those groups of people who you run the globe, I've met some of them. And I could have joined their team a long time ago. I think I was invited. They saw that I was smart enough. But I knew that my morals would have gotten me into trouble, so to speak. Because if somebody orders me to do something that my morals aren't aligned with, I don't want to do it. It's not nothing personal. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus and send you to jail. I'm not into it. I think that if there's a God or an intelligence behind this universe, it has the same common sense that we all do, where it's like, if you see somebody who has no self-discipline and says, oh yeah, I won't drink and drive, and then you witness them drink and drive, are you going to throw them the keys to your Enzo Ferrari? Like, maybe you let them borrow your Ford Taurus or some bullshit junker car to go to Lowe's or pickup truck. But are you going to let them drive your Enzo Ferrari to prom with their date because they ask you? No, you're not. Do you throw the keys to an Enzo Ferrari to a person with Down syndrome? No, you don't. You guys all think it's someone else's responsibility for you to exert any fucking intelligence in your life. And you guys all think that intelligence is just to sit there and parrot information that you read out of a fucking textbook or see on TV. And now, listen to me, Linda, I know all about Jesus, and I know all that. Did Jesus not say that you're all the children of God? Do you understand that the laws back then said that if you claim to be a child of God, you are to be killed, you're to be crucified? Do you guys understand that it would be to a prosecuting attorney's benefit to ask the question, so are you the Son of God? And then take that and run with it? Do you realize that what Jesus was basically doing was he was saying royal banking and crime families are not the do-all end-all of society. Bloodlines are not the do-all end-all of society. Anybody can get to the higher levels of heaven than Julius Caesar himself. That's what Jesus was teaching everybody, whether you low IQ pieces of shit realize that or not. But that's not to the church's advantage, the Catholic Church, the elite's advantage to continue to teach that, is it? So what do? They go back to programming you with royal families. God's only son, Jesus, taught everybody that they were also children of God, but we all know he was kidding. He's really the only one. That's what they teach you. And you low IQ fucking maggots can't fucking find your way out of a paper bag. And that's why I think that God is in no hurry to reveal anything of any importance to any of you, which puts the world into jeopardy. Because I'm a firm believer that some good ideas come from a divine intelligence, a higher power intelligence. And the reason why I feel that it was revealed to me about what gravity actually is and what Einstein and Bohr and Schrodinger and all these guys did to distract the masses with bullshit physics. What these guys did was they knew the real physics, and then they took the masses over here. And I believe that they were on the team of the elites. Einstein would have met the elites through the patent office. He was Jewish. The Jewish elites who are in charge of controlling technology to keep the world in one piece, who already know how this game ends, because Moses already had to do this once, where they had to lockbox technology, and so that he had to, quote unquote, disarm the laser gun, also known as the generator, which is called the Ark of the Covenant, the charging device for the laser gun. He had to disarm the laser gun so that the people felt confident that they had the battery with them as they fled away from Egypt, so that the Pharaoh couldn't zap them all with the laser gun. So now everybody forgets about the laser gun because the laser gun's been disarmed. Nobody can run back and say, now it's my turn to be the big punisher. I'm going to be the Pharaoh on top of the fucking Mount Olympus and zap everybody. I'm going to be the god of gods, also known as Zeus, you mindless pieces of shit. Zeus threw lightning. Laser guns and lightning are not the same thing. They are when you're a fucking IQ of 60 fucking slave in Egypt, maggots. That's your opinion. So anyway, you guys think that it's a mystery how the fucking pyramids of Giza got built, and you think that there's not higher technology. And meanwhile, the moment that someone explains a logical story to you about how everything went down, by the way, Moses was a pharaoh. He was a Pharisee. He was of the Pharaoh's elite. He was up there. So what do you want to bet? They said, okay, we've built what we need to build. We've done what we need to do. Rather than just kill these idiots that you want to kill, Mr. Pharaoh, let's take them out into the wilderness and create a society that we can cloak tax via money printing, money issuance, money dilution, where if you have a gold coin, then you make it where it's only 80% gold and 50% gold and 10% gold, and same thing with silver. You take the dilutions down. That way you are constantly issuing devalued coins to the masses for their payments that aren't worth as much as what they were the day before. This is before the printing press, where you could just print more money and make the money worth less than it was the day before. I gotta go. I got something more important to do, Brandon. I've been listening to your bullshit for 45 minutes. Now I got more important things to do in my life, like remain a dumb fuck hilljack piece of shit for the rest of my fucking life and wonder why God doesn't reveal anything unto me. See, here's the paradox, guys. I've realized that the world elites are onto something. They recruit the smartest people from Ivy League schools. They recruit people if they get off their ass and didn't go to Ivy League school, but demonstrate that they are a go-getter. They recruit all the best of the best. And the rest of you are just fucking dog shit, aren't you? I'm on Jesus' team, and I know that Osama bin Laden ran those planes into those buildings, so now I'm going to clap for my friends and family to go kill 500,000 people in the Middle East who never even met Osama bin Laden. I am Jesus' favorite. Your DNA cannot be removed from the gene pool fucking fast enough, maggot. That's enough of that episode. See ya.